Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Nextjs 13 video. This is probably going to be the last one in the series. So if you're interested to see some previous videos, go check my channel. We have 3 videos regarding the main features of Nextjs. So today we're going to talk about Nextauth, basically the Nextauth package. This is like the whole reason I started playing with Next.js to actually be able to create a project and have built-in authentication. And actually I was pretty disappointed with the Nextauth library, and I will explain you why. So first of all, before we start, let me demonstrate the functionality of the app. So we have here 2 pages. So basically login and register. We can register users. We are not going to do it, but believe me, it is working. We have here our database, Prisma database that we are connected. These are the users that I already created. We don't have any fancy error handling here because I didn't want to spend too much time on the app. So basically what we can do, we can log in into the system. If we go for a second to the home page, you can see that the home page is a public page and it says that I am not authenticated at the moment. So if we go to login and let's log into this user test.com and the password is 123. So if I say here test.com and 123, and now I'm redirected to the home page and you can see, are you authenticated? Yes. And now we have different buttons on our navigation menu. So I can go to the dashboard, which is the private page, and here I can see the information about my user, and I can log out and I will be redirected to the login page. So why I was disappointed with this library and in general with Next.js. First of all, it's lagging behind its SvelteKit. There are some features that already exist in SvelteKit and stable, and here it's only alpha or beta or whatever they call them. For example, server actions and stuff like that. And in addition, the Nextauth library, this is like the most outdated docs that I have seen. There is no any docs regarding the app router, like it's so outdated. And in addition, we have another red flag that says over here that Nextauth is becoming Auth.js. So that means that they're working on a new version of the library. So that means that all of this is even more deprecated and not maintained than I thought. So we can go to auth.js.dev, and here you can see that they're working on this new project, which is again probably, yeah, you can see that this is experimental, and also the docs here are horrible. So it took me like a long time to understand how to use Nextauth. It was pretty messy, and probably I didn't get it to work as it's supposed to be. But anyway, I will show you how I implemented it. So let's go through the code. So I don't want to go, we are going to go only the relevant things. So here you can see that this is the root page. And to actually have idea if the user is authenticated, we can use this get server session that is coming from Nextauth, and I can get the session by awaiting, and I have to run this get server session with the auth options that you will see in a moment that we defined in our API route, which is located at API/auth. And then we have this spatial notation with dot 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 next auth. And this is what you must do in order to make it work. Another must thing that you must do to make it work is to use spatial environment variables, which I couldn't even find first in the docs. So what you need to do in order to this to work I don't want to show the real one. So here in the example, you can see that we have database URL is not relevant for this. So what we need is next of secret and next of URL. So we need these both to make the library actually work. So we have the actual pages for login and register. So this is just some client components that it's nothing actually interesting over here. We'll see them later. But let's look at the next auth file itself. So inside API auth, we have this route story. And here we define basically the provider and we define the strategy that we want to use. So we are using in the session, we're using strategy of JWT, and in the providers, we say that we want to use the credentials provider. And here we specify the fields that the user should provide. And then we have this authorize function that basically what this function is supposed to do is to check our credentials. And here I'm checking if my user exists in my database. So if we have any issue with the credentials, we return null. So if we have like a wrong password or we don't find the user or any issue that we can encounter, otherwise we return the user basically. So, and we have also these callbacks here that from what I remember, the session one is what actually gets the session, or when I do how it's called, get server session. Yeah, whatever. So anyway, so you can see here the callbacks, and then you can you have to say that we export it as get and post. So basically all the routes that are get and post inside this route are going to be handled by the Nextjs library. And yeah, so let's check also the form. So for example, what is important is the sign-in form. So the sign up is just registering a user. It has nothing to do with Nextjs. So in the sign-in form, what we have is we're using the sign-in function from Nextjs React. And basically on submit, I provided here some options here because this is like the only possible way that I could make it work, because I'm using a custom login page. So by default, Nextjs giving you some ugly login page that you can use, but I wanted to use my own custom form. So the only way that I could make it work is to provide this these options of redirect false. And I'm checking here the response, and if I don't have error in the response, then I want to push to the home page and I want to refresh. Okay, so this is what I did. This is probably not what I intended to do, but as I said, all the docs are outdated. Everything is not clear. Like everything here is in talks about the pages directory. I couldn't find any good information. Oh, by the way, also the videos that I seen didn't work. I mean YouTube videos. So it was like a mess to find it a way to make this authentication work, which is, I think it's even much simpler to do it myself with my own backend. I thought that Next 13 is already good for production, but I see that it's still not. And I think that I would prefer to use SvelteKit if I want to use like some kind of meta framework. If I just want a single app, I will use React, of course, but I recommend you maybe not to use Next.js in the near future. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative in some kind of way. It was a little bit different, but it was authentic, and I think that bad opinions are important as well. So I hope you liked this one, and I will see the next one. Bye guys, and thank you for watching.